What's up, everybody? It's Thursday. It's Thursday evening in the United States. It's Thursday later evening in the UK, where our wonderful guest is from today. I'm Oliver Marcel, and this is the Love Entrepreneur Show. If you're not familiar with this, go back and check some Thursday episodes of this. Typically, what happens is a panel gets on. We talk about some things that are relative to you moving the needle in your business. It's a Love Entrepreneurs sponsored event. If you're not sure what Love Entrepreneurs is, I'm going to tell you what it is. Love Entrepreneurs is a group of individuals, business owners, entrepreneurs with the sole goal of helping ordinary people build extraordinary businesses. They do that in several very supportive ways, one of those being the Big Fix, which we call our signature dish. We're going to talk to our guest, Michelle, about her experience with the Big Fix in just a moment. So, listen, since the panel's not here, what I should have done was use the life of an entrepreneur intro, because essentially this is kind of going to turn into the life of an entrepreneur, which, Michelle, I'm going to put you on the spot and say I want you on that show as well. So we're going to have
Okay.
to set that up so we can get you on the life of an entrepreneur, and it'll just be basically a part two of what we're doing right now. So those of you who might be watching or watching the replay, make sure that you share this with someone. So since my panel's not here, that gives me more time to talk to Michelle, which I'm not mad at all. So we're going we're going to have a good time talking to Michelle. Michelle, so now let me pronounce your last name. I didn't even ask you. Is it Rowlinson?
Yep, it is. You got it right first time, which Americans usually pronounce it wrong. So you did really well.
All right, because listen, Michelle, I'm bad with that. So I feel that has made my entire night that I pronounced somebody's name correctly. That is awesome. So listen, let's jump right in. There are other guests who may pop in. Well, not guests, but the panelists may pop in here and there. It's just one of those weeks where there's a lot going on, right? So the panelists are doing all other kinds of things. Some of those panelists you've already met, like Eleri, and so some of them you haven't met, but you will definitely meet them as time goes on. So let's jump in. Michelle, the title of this comes really right out of how you serve the world in terms of reducing absenteeism, empowering women, and maximizing workplace productivity. So I'm going to kick it over to you. I'm going to stop talking. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are. Tell us about how you serve the world, and we'll discuss some things around that.
Yeah, so I'm Michelle from the UK on the East Coast, and so really, I mean, this whole thing started with my own experiences of perimenopause. I'd never heard of the word perimenopause. I've now found from the British Menopause Society that a third of women haven't heard of it before they start having symptoms.
Hmm.
Which, when I found that out alone, was more gave me more fire to want to help this sector. But I basically went through 7 years of absolute hell, not knowing what I was going through. Not one health professional mentioned perimenopause. Um, I just kept being told I was stressed, I was depressed, just go away type thing. Here's some antidepressants, or here's some beta blockers for my heart palpitations. Thankfully, I declined them. Um, and I thought I had dementia. I'm a senior physio by trade. And I would literally look at my diary and I would get to the waiting room and I'd be like, I've forgotten their name. And
Oh,
if I'd treated them before, then I knew their face. But if I hadn't, then a waiting room full of people, and I'm going, oh, so I'd have to make an excuse to the receptionist, who must have thought I was, bonkers, because I've got my own computer upstairs, which is where my treatment room was, and I'd be like, I just need to check something, to try and hide,
mm,
that, try and stop me from looking stupid in front of my patient. And it was one particular day when I just had this massive panic attack. And I'd never had these anxiety attacks before, but I'd started getting them more and more. And I was in a supermarket and I just ran out. I left my shopping. I sat in the car because I thought I was getting the wrong cereal. It was that pathetic. And that was when I was like, this isn't stress. There is something else going on. So I sort of did my own sort of research. That's when I discovered perimenopause. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not going mad. There's a thing, and it's a natural thing. It's not going to kill me. Um, and then I started doing research into how to help symptoms. That's when I found certain diets, which then led to me writing my book, because I realized it's a known thing, but we're just not told how to reduce symptoms with our diet. And that just spiraled to women asking my advice. Then I thought, well, I better get qualified in this. Um, and then that's just, ever since my book, which was bestseller in just a few hours, it's just spiraled now into a passion of, so I do a number of one-to-ones, but mainly sort of doing workshops for businesses for menopause awareness, but also how to help reduce absenteeism, which costs companies a fortune, improve productivity, but equally keep women in their careers that they've spent their lives building. And 1 in 4 women lose or leave their job because of menopause symptoms. And I was one of
Mm,
them, left as a physio, thinking I wasn't, good enough anymore, even though I was having patients specifically ask for me, but I just couldn't cope anymore. So I left.
that's a wow. That's a very interesting and somewhat staggering statistic that 1 in 4 women leave their career
Mm,
due to menopause and the symptoms that it creates.
yeah.
That's eye opening. So I okay. Wow. Let me shout out Malida. Malida's in the comments. Thank you for being here. She said, hello, everyone. Glad to be here. Listen, if you don't know that name and you see that name in the comments, you need to find out that person, right? We're gonna talk about how we can get in touch with Michelle as well, because I think this is phenomenal. Now, I'm I'm also uh alarmed, if you will, by the fact that the stat that you gave of how many people don't know about this.
Mm,
And I think I remember I caught a piece. Full transparency, I wasn't there for all of your big fix moments. I was there for the beginning of the one that you taped. And I think I remember you saying that not even the doctors that you were dealing with.
no,
That
because
was mind blowing to me
yeah, and this is
that
where
they didn't even know.
no, and this is where my other passion is. So I then found that, doctors, get around, an hour, 2 hours tops on women's health in their training,
Mhm.
unless they choose to specialize in it. And this is why women, and this is global. I thought it was a UK thing. I've now got my TikTok has gone crazy, and I've realized it's a global problem that doctors aren't trained. Women are being told they're too young. There's no such thing as too young. It can happen
Mhm.
at any age. And actually, perimenopause is more common than you think in mid to late 30s, early 40s. I mean, I was 32, arguably 30 when it started.
Mhm.
I thought I was incredibly young. And actually, I'm now realizing all the research I've done and all the ladies I've spoke to that actually 30s is really common, because it can last 10, 15 years. And if the average age of menopause is 51, that makes sense that, the peri can start, a lot younger than we think.
Interesting. Interesting. Lisa said, wow, I had no idea. Lisa Brown is in the comments. Lisa says she's on the road but tapped in. Lisa is one of our panelists as well that's usually here. So I'm sure you'll get to talk to Lisa. Matter of fact, you all would probably have a very interesting and very engaging conversation, because Lisa is also in the medical space as well,
Oh,
with
brilliant.
some of the things that she's done. So that'll be a great I know that will be a great conversation, and you will get to meet Lisa at some point. Um, but yeah, that so again, more new information. You were 30 when you believe the symptoms
Yeah.
started, right? My wife is going through that now. Now we're a little bit older, but she's going through that now. And what I think what's alarming for me is that the fact that there's so many people that are not knowledgeable,
Mm.
right? For me in particular, what I had to do was really ask some questions because she was, kind of gaining all the information and gathering, doing all the research. But I had to do some of my own, right, and ask questions and really be attentive to what she had to say so that I could understand what was happening as well. And the reason why I'm saying that is, and if you haven't dove into this yet, that's fine. But in your work that you're doing with women, does that ever lend an opportunity for those women who are married to then educate their husbands around what's going on and how to now be supportive with what they're going through?
Total. I mean, menopause affects everybody, whether it's directly or indirectly. Whether that's your partner, your parents, your siblings, your colleagues. It affects everybody in some way, and this is why I'm really keen for men to be educated just as much as women. So, like with the workshops I do, it is good for the women to be there on their own because they open up more. So what I tend to do is I will say, okay, well, we'll do the education part of what it is, the stages, the symptoms, because everybody's jaws always drop to the floor when they see the symptom list. Because it's, if you Google, it says 34, it's actually over 100 because estrogen receptors are in virtually everything. So virtually everything can be affected. And so equally, it's just as important for men to get that info. I think it should be taught in schools and personal development lessons rather than wait till we get to our 30s going, oh my god, what's going on. But so yeah, men definitely. I'm at the moment sort of working towards educating women when it comes to support groups and stuff, but I do plan, once certain things are set up, to then do ones for men as well, because I have had quite a few male friends come to me saying, oh, I've seen your TikTok videos, or I've seen your Facebook reels, and I think my wife's perimenopausal. But there's still a lot of stigma with women. I think, one, because they feel like it's a sign that they're getting old. And two, there's still a bit of a taboo about it. And when I've said, well, tell them to come along and see me, or come to my support group, or join my Facebook group, and they're like, oh no, they'd kill me if they found out I was coming to you. Just give me some advice. I was like, okay. So it's really important for men to understand as much as us, because if we don't know what's going on, how are you meant to know why we're suddenly turned into crazy lady who's screaming at you one day and crying the next? And so because rage is a symptom, and it affects, especially if you've got teenagers going through hormones, because I describe it as, it's puberty in reverse. So if you've got a teenager going hormones up and a mother with hormones going down, and then the guy in the middle going, oh my god,
Right.
oh,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and that's good too. And as with many things, right? There are stigmas that we attach, and there are social constructs that we design around these things that just make navigation of those issues and support for those things even harder, right? And I dare say there's some work that needs to be done around just taking the negative light off of certain things, right? There are just, as you navigate life, there are certain things that you will have to navigate. Why not learn how to navigate them properly, as opposed to sweeping them under the rug or putting some negative light on them? It's part of the journey. And why would you not want to then find ways to educate yourself on navigating that segment of your journey properly?
And actually, a big part of what I do is teach women how to thrive, not just manage and
Mhm,
kind of muddle through. Because actually, once our hormones have settled, the brain kind of recalibrates itself. So that's why you tend to find a lot of older women are wiser and stronger and don't care what people think anymore, because it's where the brain has kind of reset itself, getting used to not having high, normal estrogen levels. And that's why I would say, embrace, where, use this as a positive, that, you're going to be much more wiser and stronger on the other side. And it's about learning how to manage symptoms effectively. So I teach a lot of, I never tell my ladies what to do. I just educate on the options. And debunk a lot of the myths around HRT, because there's a hell of a lot of myths that it's dangerous and it's risky, and and yeah, and then give them the pros and the cons, the benefits and the risks, and then even if they are on HRT, I always advise a healthy lifestyle to back it up. So it's like a more of a holistic approach. It's not just HRT as a quick fix, job done. There's a lot more that can be done with regards to sort of managing and feeling better. And just generally, all it is you just have to sort of look after yourself more than what you might have got away with when you were younger.
Yeah. Wow. That's good. And I love also that you are bringing in the corporate element, right? The beauty of what you do is that you're in a space where at some point the people that you come in contact with are going to fall into two categories. Either they, or maybe three, they either have not experienced it yet and they will, they are experiencing it now, or they've experienced it and they're on the other side of it.
Yep. Although one myth on the other side of it is a lot of so I do like events. So I have like a stall and people can come and ask questions at wellbeing events. And I get many women come up to me and, oh, I'm past that now. And I'm like, that's great. That's great. So you no symptoms at all. Well, I'm still getting hot flushes, or I'm still getting such and such. And the myth is that we're never past it. We're menopausal for life once we hit peri. But there's three different types of ladies. You get some ladies that sail through the whole thing and barely notice anything and have no symptoms post-menopause, or they will ease off after 4 to 5 years post-menopause. Some women, symptoms come back, and some women, they don't go. So again, it's having that education of how to manage these symptoms.
That's me. Yeah,
That's
sorry
right.
about that.
But yeah, so it's again, we are all different on our menopause journey, whether that's starting early, starting late, symptoms going, symptoms not going. There is no one thing that we go through. We're all very unique on our menopause journey.
That's good information as well, because you're right. That is a myth, right? That there's some people who are on the other side of it. Whereas the other side could mean different things for different people.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm fascinated. I am fascinated with this. And first of all, thank you for even doing that. Right. And often people's passion, I've noticed, and I've said this many times for people who are watching the replay, who have heard me, I'm going to say it again, but often people's purpose and passion are usually birthed out of something personal.
Yeah.
And you going through this, realizing that the folk who are supposed to know something don't, so they can't even help you, because you go to the people who you would think would say, and they're telling you stuff that don't have nothing to do with it, trying to give you medication that doesn't have anything, and so now you taking that experience, parlaying that into research and development, and working through that on your own with you, so that now you can then do that for others. That's awesome.
And there's my other big vision, which I've now just got my little foot just slightly in the door, is I want all health professionals, not just doctors, all health professionals trained in menopause. So in the UK, we've got what's called the National Health Service, and I want it for private clinics as well, but particularly the NHS, where so as of in the new year, I will be training trainee GPs or training trainee doctors on menopause, so that my vision is to have women educated, health professionals educated, and then we can all work together. Because, as I said, on my own journey, not once did, when I was getting my heart checked, not once did they mention perimenopause. They just tried to stick me on beta blockers. Not once when I went privately to see a dentist to stop my teeth falling out, because they were all over the place, and all I got was a lecture on oral hygiene, not, oh, it might be hormones, which makes sense when we're given free dental treatment in the UK when we're pregnant, because hormones make it more likely for our teeth to fall out because of gum issues. Well, they're the same hormones when we're going through perimenopause and menopause. So, and even opticians, where ironically, and I always tell my ladies, always get symptoms checked for other causes first, never just assume. My eyes were all gritty and sore, and I knew it was perimenopause, but because my mum's got glaucoma, so I went and just double checked that there was nothing else going on. And when she said, "Oh yeah, it's dry, your tear ducts aren't working properly," I went, "Oh, it's peri," and she went, "Peri what?" And then she not only went, "Yes, I get loads of women with dry eyes," she actually realised perimenopausal in her 40s and ended up buying my book. And even as a physio, I knew that middle-aged women were more predisposed to frozen shoulder, tendinopathies, joint pain, but I didn't realise it was hormonal. And I look back and, many women that, yes, my treatment helped treat the symptoms, that are giving out poor advice.
Here we go.
Yeah, sorry, it might be my internet. Even pharmacists giving out poor advice, when we had a shortage of eugestin, the progesterone side of HRT, and they weren't telling ladies that actually, if you take estrogen and not progesterone, you're more likely to get a thickening of the womb, which gives you increased risk of uterine cancer. So this is why it's important for everybody to sort of have this education in the health service.
Wow. That's it's very important. Like, we need to know what's happening with our bodies and what we can do. Yeah, man, that's great. Now, you mentioned you wrote a book on this. Talk about the book. Let us know the name of the book, where we can get the book from as well.
Yeah, so it's called You, Me, Conquering Perimenopause and Menopause, and it's on Amazon. So just that in itself was a story where it originally was going to be a pen name and somebody else's face on the book. And I got told off by various people going, "You can't tell your story and put someone else's name on it," which is true. So it has a little bit about my stories, like I mentioned about the supermarket thing, which is when, I realized everything was going on. It mentions like my own personal symptoms, from hair falling out, 20-kilogram weight gain, and severe acne, and all sorts of symptoms that were going on. And then it goes through the stages of menopause. And then it's got advice and guides on intermittent fasting, keto diet, Mediterranean diet, and then lots of recipes that are really easy, with ingredients that you'll find in your local supermarket, UK, anywhere. They're all basic ingredients, not expensive ones that whenever you look up keto, they've got all these weird ingredients from Timbuktu that cost a fortune. Just to really give that, that help, that, because a lot of women, if you mention a diet and then you see a load of ingredients that look obscure, it puts you off straight away. You're like, no, I'm not touching that. Right. So that's again why I wanted to have a really easy book. It went bestseller, I'd say, within hours, and a lot of the feedback is
awesome.
Even if you're not a reader, which I'm not naturally, it's a very easy reading book. I don't like any of the medical stuff over your head. It's just very easy to read, so that it appeals to sort of everybody. Hopefully, I've had men buy it I've had men buy it for their wives. Make sure you know if your wife's not going to get offended before you do that, especially if they don't know that they're perimenopausal, and then you just give them a book going, I think you've got this. It's probably not the best approach, but yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. So what we want to do, let me do something really quickly because we want folk to get this book. I'm going to drop the link to this book in the comments.
Oh, brilliant.
And then I'm going to go ahead and drop. If you're watching this on LinkedIn, you can go to the LinkedIn event. And if you go to the comments of the LinkedIn event, you will see a link for the book there as well. Make sure you support by grabbing this book and getting this information, because it is necessary to get this information. Congratulations on it becoming a bestseller. That is phenomenal.
Thank you.
That is incredible. I love that. I love that. We got Peter Russell on. Peter is one of the panelists that is normally here to join us, and perfect timing for Peter because we're about to transition into talking about the big fix. For those of you who don't know what the big fix is, the big fix, think mastermind, sitting in the hot seat. You get the opportunity to now share your vision for your business, share your dreams, share your goals, share your pain points, share your challenges, any unanswered questions. And the group pours into you suggestions and potential collaborations and potential systems. And the list goes on and on and on. It's like drinking from the fire hose with a whole bunch of ideas. And so what we want to do is,
and Michelle did this today.
Michelle did this today, and so we're going to talk with Michelle about that in just a moment. Peter, if you want to just very quickly introduce yourself to everyone, and then we'll get into that with Michelle about the big fix.
All right. So, hi everyone. My name is Peter Russell. If you haven't seen me here before, and this is your first time, okay, you can't really see me because I'm in the car, but I'm a sales trainer and business coach. My job is to build high-performing businesses and help ambitious entrepreneurs structure their business the way which allows them to reach their true potential.
Excellent. And Peter Russell is somebody you want on team. If you're trying to move the needle in your business, Peter Russell is one of the folks that you need to talk to. So, Michelle, you went through this big fix experience.
Yes.
And I'd love to hear just some of your takeaways. Just share with us what your experience was like and some of your takeaways from your experience this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great way of getting, people that have got different experiences and expertise to listen to where you are in your business, what you want from your business, and then literally, first of all, you start getting, the questions just to sort of, so they get a better idea on what you've already done, what you need to do. And yeah, it's, they offer their advice. They can link you with other people that they think might help you, different resources. So yeah, it was really, really good. Some really great ideas on how to sort of move this forward more efficiently, rather than just sort of muddling through and working it out for myself. So yeah, and some great, people, some reach out about collaborating. So yeah, it's been really, really good.
That's awesome. So what was your because typically, for those of you who are not familiar with the big fix, there's usually a main question, if you will, or a main ask that you want the group to help with. Did you have one of those? And if so, what was that? What was the main thing you wanted to try to get out of it?
I think my main thing was how to get it out there to the big wide world in the best way. You know, how to just to sort of reach more businesses, reach more NHS or health professionals in a more efficient and streamlined way, how to sort of get to the big guys type thing, so that I can impact as many women, businesses, family, you know, as much as possible.
Awesome. That's good. That's good. And I'm sure, again, full transparency, I was not as involved with this big fix as I normally am. And so I apologize for that, publicly to you and to everybody. But that doesn't mean that's the last time we'll have an opportunity to have a conversation. I'm sure you and I will get to speak as well, and I'll get to share some of my suggestions, if you will, on how you can potentially accomplish that goal as well. So I love that, right? So often when I talk to people about their experience with the big fix, they often talk about, well, they not often, but some of them say that the experience is a little daunting in the beginning. They're not really sure what to expect, or it's overwhelming, or like what are your adjectives for that experience? Did you just come in there and was like, hey, let's get it off, let's get it going, or did you have some apprehension?
I think it helped that I'd watched a couple of them a few weeks leading up to, so I got an idea of how it worked.
Okay.
And I think because I've just got so used to getting it out there, telling people what I do, it just kind of comes quite. I mean, if you said this to me a year ago, I'd be like doing this, or, you know, I'd be like, not a hope. I
Wow.
hated speaking. I've now, you
Wow.
know, been on stage pitching just yesterday, you know, in front of some phenomenal people. So I suppose I've now got used. I don't know if you ever get used, but it's a lot easier on a screen than it is in a room full of people. I can say that for sure. But yeah, I would say that, you know, it's nice because, you know, everyone's quite casual. There's no kind of pressure. You just sort of, you know, speak from your heart what you do, what you want, and you just sort of have conversations. And then obviously there are breakout rooms where they all natter to them, you know, talk amongst themselves, so they get their own opportunities to bounce their ideas off, and then we all go back into the main part, and then everybody sort of voices what they've said. So and that's when it's like brilliant to hear, you know, all these different minds coming together and giving you all the advice.
Yes, and for those of you that are watching the replay, it is a awesome experience for you to be inundated with ideas, suggestions, tips, tools, systems that can potentially move the needle in your business. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to be in the beginning phases of your business. I've sat in big fixes where the person on one end of the spectrum literally only had a business name and idea. That was it. On the other end of the spectrum, I've sat in big fixes where the person was in business for 20 plus years. So it doesn't matter. Everybody's looking to grow, at least you should be. Everybody's looking to gain some level of knowledge and understanding, even in their area of expertise, that allows them to be even more effective, even more impactful as they go about their business. And so this is a great opportunity to do that. Peter, talk about you were part of that experience today as well. Talk about from your perspective, Michelle's big fix.
Michelle is in an amazingly important space. She's doing a work which doesn't have an established platform. So her job is to create a platform for herself so she can get all of the information that's critical for people who are in the for women in the perimenopause, so they can understand what's happening to them, how they can handle it, and get to the other side in a more predetermined way or easier. So if you are in the process of something, whatever this is, it may be in business, it may be your physical health, and you don't know what's happening, you are in a very difficult position, and you would do anything, find anyone to actually help you with it. Michelle is one of those people. So her job now is to establish a platform for herself so she can serve all of the women she can. And the experience of today's Big Fix was pretty much along those lines, where everyone got behind her and used the best of their experience and expertise to provide her with some uh, serious guidance on what's the next step, what are the next steps she needs to take now so she can accomplish the goal she had set for herself.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I want to acknowledge some comments that did not show up in the live stream, but they are on LinkedIn for some reason. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard today, but there are some comments in the live stream that I did want to acknowledge. Malida said that, first of all, it's so nice to know that men are willing to support, which is awesome. Malida also said people's passion is usually birthed out of something personal. She was quoting the statement that I made earlier, and said, "Love that statement. It's so very true." Malida also said, "Michelle, congratulations on the bestseller. That is awesome.
Yeah, big
Like,
congratulations.
yeah, that's awesome. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And what's I don't have my applause here today. Like my stream deck is not working for some reason, so I can't do the applause. But let me see if I can get some balloons. Let's see. We got these little things that happen. Yeah, there we go. Let's get some balloons for Michelle. There we go. So congratulations on that. Um, Lisa Brown. Lisa Brown's comment did show up. That says absolutely. It's really the love that brings us back week to week, week after week, to assist businesses in their journey to success. Lisa is part of the panel team as well. Also in the comments, Malida said, and this one didn't show up here either. Malida said, "I didn't know that statistic for women leaving was even a thing. I think a lot of women keep that to themselves. I had no idea."
Yeah. I mean, a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah,
of women,
I
they
agree.
don't, they don't admit why they're calling in sick. They don't admit,
Hmm.
and they start feeling embarrassed and they start to leave. I think one other really important statistic is also that how much it affects women, that suicide rate in women is more prevalent age 45 to 55. And I don't think that's a
Wow.
coincidence, because I felt
Yeah.
like that at times. And it was only like, my son and, what it would do to other people that kind of stopped me. But that I did reach points where I just didn't, if I thought, if this is my life, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm done.
Wow.
So,
I
yeah.
Wow.
totally agree. And I would circle back to the to one of the comments, which highlighted that she didn't know that men are supportive. Why shouldn't we be? This is our loved ones we talk about. It's my wife, it's my daughters. It is. I find this as my duty to help them educate themselves and understand what's going on, so they can manage the process in a way which affects them the least, and the experience, not just for them but for everyone else around them, would be the best possible, because it can destroy whole families. And as Michelle says, the impact on others is significant, even if no one recognizes that this is happening.
Yeah. That's true. That's good. And I'm the same way, Peter. Before you guys came on, I was telling Michelle that I'm going through that process with my wife, and so again, why would I not want to know
Yeah,
what
precisely.
is happening, right? You know what I'm saying? In order to make sure that I'm giving the amount of support that's necessary. And so it was kind of mind blowing to me. I didn't the statistics that Michelle gave around the miseducation and or just simply not knowing is just
Yeah,
incredible. And
absolutely.
that is a key indicator that what Michelle brings to the table is valuable, is necessary. And so we
Oh,
definitely,
it is
as a
vital.
group, yeah, and as a group of individuals from a love entrepreneur perspective, we got to make sure that she gets out there and that we shine a spotlight on this thing and we put her up in lights and we get this thing off and jumping and popping. So that's what we're going to do as a love entrepreneurs team. But Barry Taitt is in the comments. Shout out to Rob Howze, who's also in the comments. Rob Howze said, great group of humans. Barry Taitt, I can put his comment up because it showed up. Michelle is providing information and services in such a crucial space. Looking forward to seeing more of her and hope we can see some collaboration with entities here in the Caribbean. Yes, sir. We're going to
Brilliant.
get you over there as well, Michelle. We're going to make that happen.
I'm
We're
more than
going
happy
to,
to do
yeah,
that.
we're going to make that happen. Barry also said, too right, Peter. Men do want to support our loved ones as they go through these changes. So that's awesome. Listen, Michelle, I thank you so much for sharing your experience, sharing your expertise, and in the small amount of time that we've been able to talk, for educating us,
Yeah,
because that's so important, right? And
Thank
we know that this is
you.
important work. We know that this is necessary work. And as a love entrepreneurs group, we will be certain to identify and understand how we can rally around you to make sure that this thing that you want to see happen happens in the way that you would like to see it happen. So thank you for taking some time out to be with us today. This won't be our last conversation because I'll be reaching out to you to set up some one-on-one time so that we can discuss some things as well.
brilliant.
I'm sure it won't be the last time you see Eleri and Peter, and you'll get to meet some of the others, Rob and Lisa, that are typically on the panel as well. But we appreciate you. We are grateful that you had a good experience with the Big Fix, and we're looking forward to connecting and collaborating with you further to catapult your vision into the stratosphere. So that's awesome.
Oh, I
Looking
can't
forward to that.
wait.
Indeed. Indeed. Listen, so those of you who are watching this now or watching the replay and you want to get in touch with Michelle, what's the best way for people to come and check you out?
I mean, my email is info@panacea pause, which is PANACEA pause.co.uk. I'm on Facebook, Michelle Rowlinson. It's the same picture that is on the front of my book. So I've got a couple of other accounts that I don't use. My TikTok is just Michelle_Rowlinson. So yeah, or LinkedIn is also, I'm on there as well. So there's many ways. I am on Instagram as well, but that's menopause with Michelle. So yeah, so I'm on them all, but just message me. I personally message back everyone because I like that personal touch as much as I can. But yeah, it's
All right. That's good. So listen, if you weren't able to catch all that, make sure you go back to this portion of the show, write that down. I sent you a connection on LinkedIn as well, so we'll connect there and set up some time to have a conversation. I love that you're on TikTok. I'm a TikTok person as well, so as soon as we get off camera, I'm gonna make sure I go over there and follow you there as well.
It's funny you say that. I was so against going on it. When all my friends were on it in COVID, I was like, nope, I'm not touched. I'm just not a social media person.
Mhm.
I joined it this time last year, but I didn't really start until about 5 months ago, and it's gone bang up to nearly 15K followers already. It's just, yeah, TikTok seems to be
Amazing.
a platform for menopause.
Listen, and here's the thing. Here's what I tell, and Peter can attest to this. Here, I tell almost everybody: get on TikTok. TikTok is the
Yes,
platform for
uh,
everything.
I agree.
And like you, Michelle, I didn't want nothing to do with it either. I've had a TikTok account for years, and I wasn't doing anything because all I thought it was people getting on there doing dances and that kind of thing. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, how's that gonna look? You know, like, is that really me or not? Right. But then I I heard somebody talk about how businesses should be on TikTok, and if they're not, they're missing out on an audience that's
Mhm.
untapped. And so I
Mm,
went on
Yeah.
there, and like you, had the same experience. It shot through the roof
mm.
in a
Much
matter of
more
months.
platforms.
Yeah, it's and so you want to get some messaging out there. That's the place you want to be. So I'll make sure that I follow you, become one of your followers there as well.
Yeah.
So listen, thank you for your
And
time.
to
Go ahead,
create
Peter.
and follow.
Say that
I'm
one more.
saying I need to create a TikTok account.
Oh yes, Peter, without a doubt,
Uh,
without a
I'll be
doubt.
your first follower.
Yeah,
one thing I want to say, not just to Michelle, but to everyone out there who's listening to this. The most mind-blowing thing which I've learned about social media is that while every platform is different, it is a good thing, and you should be on all of them. The reason
Yeah.
being is you will have the same people following you on LinkedIn, following you on Facebook, on Instagram, and on TikTok. However, on every single platform, they are like a different person. So they will see your message on LinkedIn, they would be just passively watching it. They will see it on Facebook, probably like it. On Instagram, same. But when they get on TikTok, there you will get the engagement. So it's like by every platform, you are reaching a different part of their personality. That's why all of those channels are important, and that's why you need to build them by design so you can actually serve your audience in ways they are expecting.
yeah, that's good info. That's good info. So yes, so those of you who are listening, make sure that you are maximizing your time on these platforms in a way that will help put you out there. And listen, to everybody who's watching or watching the replay, I know that you know at least one woman that means something to you: mom, sister, wife, cousin, friend. The list goes on and on and
Absolutely.
on. Coworker, whatever the case may be. There are two things that need to happen. One is you need to get them this book as a gift. And two, you need to point them to Michelle. That's your
Yeah.
assignment. Those of you who are watching, because everybody has at least one woman that they care about. And if you care about
Mhm.
this woman, you need to grab this book for them. If you care about this woman, you need to get Michelle in their space. Thank you, Michelle, for being a part of this. If you don't mind, hang
Thank
out
you,
just for
Michelle.
a few minutes
Yeah.
after we end this, just so I can say a couple words to you.
Oh
But
my-
listen, those of you who are watching, this is another episode of the Love Entrepreneur Show. We are here typically every Thursday to share some words of wisdom with you that will help you move the needle in your business and to highlight individuals who go through this big fix. What is the big fix, you ask? The big fix is an opportunity for you to get around some folk who want to see you win. And as such, they will give you tools and tips and suggestions and guidelines and potential collaborations and systems that you could use to build that network and to build your business. It is called the Big Fix. If you want to be a part of the Big Fix, you can reach out to anybody you see on your screen. You can message me directly on whatever platform you are watching this on right now. It is sponsored by Love Entrepreneurs, and Love Entrepreneurs is a group of people who their sole mission in life is to make sure that ordinary people build extraordinary businesses. Come join us. Come take a look at what we're doing. We want to see you win. And as such, we want to be a part of what you're doing, and we want you to be a part of what we're doing as well. All right. Listen, we're going to get out of here. We'll see you next week. Have a phenomenal rest of your week. We're going to end this off with hearing something from my good friend Elena Lafferty. She's going to tell you a little bit about her Big Fix experience, and then we will see you next week. Take care.
Hi everyone, my name is Elena Lafferty and I'm a high performance coach focusing on intuition at the subconscious level, working with men and women who have become stuck in reverse. So today I was part of this wonderful meeting called Big Fix, and I absolutely loved it because the flow of ideas and suggestions and examples was amazing and have created so much information that I can use for my business. It was incredible. So I just can recommend it if you ever need some help. This is the place to be. Thank you.